Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow keeping score beyond the boardroom, beyond the scoreboard. Everything that you want to know about the trillion-dollar business of sports, and it's a very interesting ceremony, celebration we have today. It's all about the business of South Florida baseball, the business of baseball in Palm Beach County, the economics of it. We have an incredible panel here today, and we'll introduce them in just a few minutes as well. As a part of and a prelude to the Palm Beach Sports Commission's annual Palm Beach County Sports Hall of Fame dinner, we hope to make this a regular branded opportunity. And today, we're talking about baseball. The interesting dynamic as well as today also happen to be the last games for the 4 spring training teams in Palm Beach County as they head north and as they start a season that's opening 1 week early this year, except it's 88 degrees today as we speak or so. So we still have a very interesting opportunity. Before we get into the panel discussion, let's get into a little bit of history, South Florida baseball. And I know I'm dating myself, but here is the Miami Marlins. It's not the current Florida Miami Marlins. This is the Miami Marlins Florida State Baseball League 1965 program. By the way, it was 10 cents. The box seat cost $1.50. I was just reminded by the president of minor league baseball that Rod Carew is on this roster, the Orlando roster, affiliated with the Minnesota Twins. He did a pretty good job, by the way, at the end of this deal. And when you think about it, baseball has come a long way from those days. Cal Ripken and his dad played here. His dad coached here in the mid-'60s. That was really very important. His dad talked about don't just practice, but practice right. He uttered those words at Miami Stadium in South Florida 50-plus years ago. It was really important. Fast forward ahead to 1980, and Joe Robbie wanted to create a new baseball stadium for what could be an expansion franchise. I was lucky enough and honored enough to be part of that South Florida and Miami-Dade Sports Authority. I was, by the way, putting together some files in anticipation of this, and this is yellow. It's consistent with being 40 years old, findings and generalizations from then, and we had some observations after looking at some.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the Sports Professor.
How's that kitchen remodel coming along?
I haven't found a reliable contractor and have no idea where to start.
What about Home Advisor?
Home what?
Home Advisor. They match you to pre-screened and top-rated pros for any kind of home project. You can even check pricing and book appointments online.
What's the catch?
No catch. Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Really? I'll check it out.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor. If you're one of the millions of Americans who can't work because of a serious injury or illness, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. It doesn't matter if you've applied before and the government has said no. Let the experienced attorneys at Bill Gordon and Associates help you get the Social Security disability you deserve. Their team of attorneys have been fighting for benefits for people just like you for over 20 years. And best of all, they're there's no fee until you receive your benefits. There are many conditions that make you eligible, including some you may not even be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call Bill Gordon and Associates today for your free, no-obligation consultation. See if you qualify for the Social Security benefits you need and deserve. 800-443-4996. 800-443-4996. That's 800-443-4996.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. After I left baseball, I just couldn't stay in shape like I used to. Turns out, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. So I got back into the game with Nugenics. I'm feeling stronger with a lot more energy and drive. You want to get back into shape? Get Nugenics. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Frank's right. Just text LIKE to 42424 to get a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And guys, she'll like the difference too.
Nugenics samples are not available in stores. To get your complimentary bottle, text LIKE to 42424. That's LIKE to 42424.
Your washing machine died. A puddle forms on the floor, sending you running to the home improvement store, where you see the stainless steel machine of your dreams. For a minute, you're glad your old washer died, until you see the price of the new one. And now you die a little. Don't let those big box retailers leak on your dreams. Swing by Rent-A-Center or go to rentacenter.com and get the big brands you want for small payments you can afford, all without credit. Rent-A-Center. Big brands. Small payments. Rental purchase transactions. See store for details.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
We had some observations after looking at some facilities for 15, 16 trips in those early days in 1981. We said baseball would provide a $2 billion economic boom long-term for the region. We needed a baseball team in South Florida. The debt service can't be satisfied by any sports complex, so you got to go through politics, and you needed a large amount of intergovernmental cooperation. And the cost of a sports facility largely depends on the philosophy of individual owners. I'd say we went through 7 different sports authorities, 48 appointed officials, 92 elected officials. By the way, something that this panel will find interesting. I was fired and dismissed by 7 different sports authorities before we finally found one that worked, and Joe Robbie and his stadium prevailed. But a little bit of history in this community. Fast forward a little bit to the 1980s. And another bridge to baseball in South Florida. Gary Carter, Hall of Famer, Palm Beach County Hall of Fame, inducted Hall of Fame in 2003, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. When you think of Palm Beach County, you think of Gary Carter. He passed from us in February of 2012. His 324 homers don't give us enough description of how important Gary Carter was. He was deluged by so many autograph requests, by the way, that he published a thank you autograph request due to the high volume. I can't give everybody's request personally. But here's 4 million cards that I had for my people. That's one of the things that Gary did really well, and just a kind of a tribute to Gary Carter as well as we kind of go forward on stuff. And then finally, before we get into the specifics, Wayne Huizenga, the final kind of bridge in South Florida baseball, the 1997 champs, bought the franchise in 1993, a historical bridge, incredible credibility. I was honored to work with him. We needed an owner. We had a structure. We had a mandate, and Wayne Huizenga was that owner. we celebrate his life and his passing last week as we get into the business of sports and the economics of baseball. And we talk about it in a situation today that's really interesting. The Palm Beach Sports Commission was created in 1985, privatized in 1992. Last year, 162 events brought to Palm Beach County in 43 sports, twice expanded portfolio to twice as much as it was in 2010. Significant. And when you think about the economics, and we'll get into that from a different set of perspectives, 225,000 hotel room nights, $340 million of direct visitor spending last year alone. And baseball itself, we'll talk specifically about how that comprises a large number of the economic impact story. 4 out of the 15 Florida spring training teams are in Palm Beach County. 30 amateur tournaments last year alone. 30,000 room nights, 20 million direct visitor spending from amateur sports, baseball. Hope I get the numbers right. And the ballpark of the Palm Beaches, which opened last year, an economic impact of nearly $80 million. So baseball has come a long way in this region generally and in South Florida. Our next segment, we'd like to talk specifically to the author of a lot of the impact in South Florida of minor Major League Baseball and otherwise, especially Palm Beach County, the head executive director of the Palm Beach County Sports Commission, George Lindley. George, how are you?
Thank you, Rick. I'm thrilled and honored to be here amongst your presence, a sports legend and icon in your own right, and then so many leaders in the and within our community and the sports industry here today.
Tell us a little bit from your perspective of the growth of the Palm Beach County Sports Commission, your mandate, your purpose, and your perspective of the growth of baseball in Palm Beach County from an economic perspective.
Sure, and I'll try to be brief about the overview of our sports commission, as we are talking a lot about baseball, and baseball is a huge part of this county's identity. Our sports commission represents one of the first of its kind formed in the state of Florida. I will say that our county, Palm Beach County, is a pioneer in terms of recognizing that sports events is a vehicle to better a community by capturing visitors and revenues for their destination. And we, as you mentioned, were formed in 1985. We were also, the year we were privatized in 92, we were one of 16 sports commissions that was a founding member of our National Association of Sports Commissions. Today, that same association has over 1,000 members. And I think, if nothing else, that speaks to the growth of sports travel in the United States. Communities across the country recognize that sports travel is one of the most recession-resistant tourism products that exists, and they're trying to get in that field in order to obtain events and take part in that tourism product. And I'll give you a quick statistic. Last year, 143 counties in the United States used both public and private dollars to enhance sport facilities within their destination or to build or create a new sports venue. So it is one of the fastest-growing segments of the overall tourism industry, and our county was a pioneer in that regard.
Tell us exactly how you view the baseball piece of this as part of the whole economic development puzzle.
This past year, 2017, and we're going to celebrate that tonight at our Palm Beach County Sports Hall of Fame celebration, was a historic year for our county, and specifically because of baseball. For 19 years, Roger Dean Stadium, which is now Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium, it was the only facility, spring training complex in the state of Florida that was accommodating 2 MLB teams. Out in Arizona, that's the model, but that simply was not the model here in Florida, and Roger Dean Stadium was one of a kind. 2017 comes along, and there's 2 of those facilities that now exist in Florida with the opening of the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Palm Beach County is home to the only Major League Baseball spring training facilities that accommodates 2 teams. With that comes 2 marquee stadiums, world-class amenities, and total 26 MLB regulation diamonds. Now our county is not only the leader when it comes to spring training baseball in Florida, being home to 4 of the 15 teams that compete in Florida's Grapefruit League. But we're also positioned to be a leader in overall baseball activities. You mentioned the 30 amateur baseball tournaments that we held here last year. That was in combination with Roger Dean Stadium and the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Because we have unrivaled baseball infrastructure in our county, we're home to the second largest high school aged baseball showcase in the United States. We're home to some of the most prestigious organizations in baseball, such as USA Baseball, the national governing body for the sport, hosts its national championships here every year for the last 15 years, and now they're expanding because of our new facility. We're home to some of the premier brands like Perfect Game and Prospect Select, and there's a laundry list that I could go over. But I'm confident when I say there's nobody else in Florida that has the baseball amenities that we have in this county, and now that's hosting the type of events outside of spring training.
You have 2 publicly funded facilities that are up and running, highest quality, 2 teams in each that are basically coexistent in each of those facilities, but yet 2 of them have a minor league team in the facility. The other facility has none, but yet that's an amateur sports facility. From your perspective as kind of the quasi-governing body, how do you juggle, maneuver to make sure you maximize the community benefit?
Well, first, our county is lucky to have great partners from Major League Baseball. At Roger Dean Stadium, home to the Miami Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals, and at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches, home to the Washington Nationals and the world champion Houston Astros. In fact, our county, Palm Beach County, is celebrating the World Series championship alongside the people of Houston, and I find it quite special that the inaugural year of the ballpark of the Palm Beaches was a spark plug for the Houston Astros' first World Series championship in its 56 years of its franchise.
Are you personally taking credit for that? Is that
I'm waiting. Yeah, my entire staff is waiting for the World Series rings. They haven't arrived yet, but the championship.
Don't hold your breath, but I'm sure they're going to come.
But we have tremendous partners, and because of that relationship.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
If you are age 85 or younger, Call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
But I'm sure they're going to.
But we have tremendous partners, and because of that relationship, that's helped develop this great atmosphere of other baseball enterprises. And we are grateful to be home to the Florida State League Baseball. We're grateful to be home to the Jupiter Hammerheads and the Palm Beach Cardinals. It's a lot of baseball in our county. That is a huge economic benefit. Some people don't realize those athletes, those players are staying in hotels and seasonal rentals for the duration of the season. And there are some big events around the minor league baseball season that creates a significant economic impact. And of course, it helps build us as a baseball destination. It increases our resume and our stature when we're going out recruiting sporting or baseball events to our community.
One more question, then we'll go to the next person on the panel. The community was fairly close to losing everything. I know there were clauses in the respective leases around spring training baseball that unless you have a minimum number of teams, the other teams could leave, and you navigated that, and now you have a pretty set deal for 4 teams through the bonding period of the facilities. How close were we to losing?
There was a lot of intense conversations about the ROI for significant investment. And our sports commission was used as an instrument to present in front of our Board of County Commissioners to determine how this venue can be a tourism vehicle. And one of the key components of the discussion for our county was outside of spring training, that we could become this leader in terms of hosting national and global baseball tournaments during the county's off-season when our hospitality industry needs the business the most. And there were times that the conversation about this happening was in doubt, but I can't speak enough about our leadership at Palm Beach County and the leadership at the state level, and Pat could probably talk to that, because it's truly a partnership between the state of Florida, who also put in an incentive for this stadium, the county, and then the 2 teams. And we're very grateful that this happened, because in addition to recognizing the economic benefits from this new facility, it preserved spring training baseball on the east coast of Florida.
Final question for you, Release now. Political businessman, you cut across a number of different dimensions. We talked about the $80 million of economic impact for one ballpark. Obviously, there is that and more with the other one, with the 2 FSL teams. A lot of it's economic, but a lot of this is anecdotal and quality of life. It's often the hardest to prove, but the easiest to understand. How would you put it into words?
I always say, going back to when I was talking about sports being one of the premier tourism products out there, recession resistant, but it also brings that other element. It provides entertainment for a local community. It provides or encourages youth participation in sports. When we're hosting a national or an international baseball event, there's opportunities for our local teams here in South Florida to participate against athletes from Missouri, from California, from Texas, or even from the Caribbean or overseas, from a number of different countries, that if we did not bring that event here, they would not have that opportunity. And so in addition to the economics, sports creates the entertainment for our community, participation for our youth and adults, and it teaches and demonstrates life lessons that there are very few other products in the entertainment tourism sector that would demonstrate like sports.
George Lindley, local perspective but national words of wisdom. Thank you very much. President, CEO, Minor League Baseball, Pat O'Connor, guru, you've shepherded Minor League Baseball through, since 2007, 41 million fans per year, basically over 13 seasons, 3 successive professional baseball agreements with Major League Baseball, 2 collective bargaining agreements with the Association of Minor League Umpires, brought together minor league baseball clubs in digital rights, agreements with MLB Advanced Media, diversity initiatives, minor league baseball enterprises. When are you going to start doing something?
Well, you stick around long enough, you're expected to accomplish a thing or two. But I have to credit everything to our great membership, 160 communities throughout the U.S., a committed ownership group, committed staff, dedicated fans, and it's been a good run. And we still have quite a bit of work to do, but we are very comfortable in our skin. We know what we are. We kind of have a good idea of what we're not, and we continue to provide affordable family entertainment for fans throughout the country.
And I will tell this story very quickly, that as I've gotten to know you and know you for a long time and realize your sense of leadership and knowing everybody at the meetings, you are not only humble about your role, but if I start over promoting you, you really get mad. So I'm not going to promote you.
Look, in a leadership role like this, I am nothing but a steward. I've been put in charge to shepherd an organization, as you indicated, to build consensus, to differentiate right from wrong, try to do what's good for our communities who invest so much in our product, and to serve our fans. Minor League Baseball is around primarily for 2 reasons. Well, number 1, for our fans, and number 2, for Major League Baseball. And as long as you keep that in focus, and as one of my vice presidents like to say, if we stick to our knitting, we've got a good product, we've got a good business model, and we have the ability to do good.
And also, which is kind of interesting, and no, we're not comparing, but you have 160 owners, bosses, who will blame you if the balance sheet doesn't work really well, and they'll take credit if the balance sheet works well for them. But you basically have to create an environment to maximize revenue and fan enjoyment for 160 bosses, which is very difficult.
Well, I mean, it's a well-known fact. They all can do my job better than I do. We all know that. But the fact of the matter is that it is a very diverse group. We're from coast to coast. We're in cities of 24,000 to state capitals and major metropolitan areas throughout the U.S. So it is a challenge. But, what you have to do is you side with right and wrong, and you lead to the majority, and make sure that all ships rise on the high tide. And when you try to put deals together, you service the majority and try not to leave anybody behind. And we've been able to do that. It takes a great deal of cooperation. It takes a great deal of vision on the ownership's part to look past the short term, what it might cost me in this one instance, but the whole is greater. We've got great partners at Major League Baseball, and we've got great partners throughout the U.S. and the communities we call home.
So Major League Baseball, you have negotiated 3 successive professional baseball agreements. They're ongoing. The momentum continues. It is a very significant partnership. Describe the partnership a little bit for people.
Well, in a nutshell, Major League Baseball owns the player contracts, top to bottom. Everything that you see on the field is owned and controlled by Major League Baseball. We, in turn, agree to provide the venue and make sure that players and coaches get from place to place to play those games. It's a very detailed agreement, but it spells it out in minutia and minute detail that allows this to work. And I would add that, the professional baseball agreement, which you refer to, was first signed in 1901. So, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of continuity to what we do, and we've had to kind of ebb and flow with the changes at home with our communities, with the changes in player development, and the changes that go on at the major league level. But we have been able to expand and adapt, and we are partners with Major League Baseball on key areas. Obviously, the players are important. You can't do this without the players. But as you mentioned, our internet, our national marketing has ties. They are our licensing agent on our licensing program that allows us to sell $70 million of merchandise throughout the year. So there are a lot of every Major League umpire in the last 35 years has come through the minor leagues. So we have a minor league umpire development program that produces the players. We look at our job as, aside from servicing our fans in the 160 communities, we are the research and development arm for Major League Baseball. We develop, obviously, the players, but we develop umpires, we develop fans, we develop executives, and we develop corporate partners. And because of scale, we can service far many more corporate partners and communities and community leaders because of our scale, unlike Major League Baseball.
Obviously, speaking of the experimentation, I think it's public. Talk about what happens in extra innings this year.
Well, this is somewhat controversial, but when you look at this from a couple of different perspectives, we're going to adopt the international rule that beginning in the 10th inning of a tied game, we will start the inning with a runner on second base. And I have been called anything from a genius to an idiot to do this. For us, it was really simple. It's a business case from the standpoint that when you start a game with 5,000 people, end an extra inning game with 300 to 500, your fans clearly don't appreciate and enjoy the product. The bigger picture for us, Rick, is the fact that this is a player development issue. Yeah. We're dealing with young and developing arms in most cases. And when you go 10, 12, 13 innings deep into your bullpen, you not only tax those players that night, but you tax them the next couple of nights because they're not as resilient, they're not as matured and aged as a professional athlete. So that creates a situation where we have to start moving pitchers and players throughout the system. And it's very cost-effective, it's cost-ineffective, it's very inefficient. And what it does is it creates a great disruption in the player development for some of these players. So when you add the whole thing up, we're going to try it. And I put it akin to, and you and I talked about this, what Commissioner Bettman did with the NHL when he pulled 2 players off the ice in overtime. And you were gracious enough to get me an answer from him on the reaction to that. When you look what the NFL has done with its overtime and what the NCAA football people have done with their overtimes, I had a guy ask me, he goes, my goodness, what are you doing to my game? And I said, well, Jeff, I'm bringing it into the 21st century for you, and that's really how we view this.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Every home repair or improvement project should start with a pro you know you can trust. That's why for over 15 years, homeowners have trusted Home Advisor.
Home Advisor is a very easy way to find a home contractor, and for me, it's the only way.
You can use Home Advisor for everything. Your house cleaning, your painting.
Electricians, plumbers, handymen. We've had nothing but fabulous every single time.
Home Advisor is a totally free service that instantly connects you with top-rated pros who have passed criminal and financial background checks.
Knowing that they have had the background checks and that they're vetted absolutely gives me a sense of security.
Plus, Home Advisor's True Cost Guide helps you get a fair price by showing you the cost of similar jobs in your area.
Home Advisor is a total solution to any type of work you would ever want to do around your house.
And best of all, it's completely free. Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first-class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
If you love fantasy but need to be a part of the action, there's a better way to play, and it's live. WinView Games is the only app that lets you make live props when the game is on TV, compete against other sports fans, talk trash, and if you're right, win cash with an immediate payout each quarter. Playing WinView is easy. During each game, props are sent straight to your phone. So what are you waiting for? Go to winviewgames.com/predict to start cashing in on your sports IQ. That's winviewgames.com/predict. WinView Games. When the game is on, it's on.
The backyard's looking great, Rob.
Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors?
Why don't you just ask Home Advisor?
Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, Home Advisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free Home Advisor app.
Home Advisor.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. The remaining portions of our panel discussion have been edited for time constraints. Here's Rick.
Before we even start, as we speak, Pat Rooney is giving up the last 10 minutes of Villanova, Texas Tech in the Elite Eight to be with us and has not looked at his phone since the beginning of this show. Pat, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Rick. And I've been trying to discreetly, I don't know where the cameras are, so it's always tough. But I'm confident that Villanova is going to be able to take care of business today and get on to the Final Four.
Yeah, and you probably should be, although by the time this is shown, we'll see if that's absolutely correct or not, clearly. You've been involved, obviously, grew up here or involved in the business of sports and the economics of Palm Beach County generally. Your perspective of what sports has meant to Palm Beach County generally?
Well, I think you can't even measure it. It's it's so tremendously impactful in almost every aspect of life down here. You mentioned golf a little bit, tennis, soccer, water, fishing, all the things that we have just because of the beautiful natural resources that we have here. But as George mentioned, the ability to bring teams, from all levels, all age groups, including professional teams, to come down here because, again, of what we have to offer from a sunshine perspective, but also from a tax perspective and all this other kind of stuff. It's immeasurable, really. At the track, at the dog track that my family's had since 1970, we do probably about 50 to 55% of our business in these 3 months, January, February, and March. That a lot of businesses do, most of their business for that year, and to have spring training here and to have that baseball impact here, I can't tell you how many fans come into the track. They've got their St. Louis Cardinals stuff on, or now Houston Astros stuff. It definitely provides, and this is just a small, minuscule fraction of what those fans, restaurants and things that they're doing while they're here for this month-long spring training. Sports in general, but specifically because I know we're talking about baseball, I can't quantify it really to tell you, but it's huge.
71-59. Congratulations. You're going to San Antonio, okay? All right. Everything okay now? You happy?
I'm good now. I'm good. I can concentrate.
Yeah, you can concentrate. Restaurateur, entertainment business, national perspective, again, family Steelers ownership. And it is easy to quantify economically direct visitor spending, indirect visitor spending. A lot of that glazes over with the normal fan. You have a different perspective because you served as a politician for 6 years. So you had to hear the constant bombardment about public money for facilities. So how do you come at all that? What's your perspective on that?
Well, I mean, of course, I've got one perspective because in Pittsburgh, when we built Heinz Field, there was public money involved in that. There's money from the city of Pittsburgh, there's money from the county, and there's money from the state. I think it was a great partnership, and it worked the way it's supposed to work there. You have the Pitt Panthers that play at Heinz Field. You have high school teams that play there. You have concerts that go on there. You have it truly is a multiple-use stadium in Pittsburgh, and it benefits that city tremendously. You know, when I was in the legislature, as time went on, the desire to do those public-private partnerships lessened severely, especially over the last few years up in Tallahassee. You know, it was very difficult to even get the conversation started about, you know, giving public money to help. And it wasn't just sports. We had a great film industry here in Florida, and that's taken a beating because, unfortunately, Rick, or whatever adjective you want to use, you're in competition. You're in competition with everybody. You're in competition with other states. You're in competition with other countries. Georgia, Louisiana, Tennessee, South Carolina noticed that Florida was not giving some of the incentives that they were giving in the film industry, so they've taken it over. They're doing shows now that pretend that they're in Florida in Georgia. So you've got to be aware that whether you want to believe in the free markets and that people don't want to come here because of the natural resources and the low tax, you can believe all that, but money talks, and if someone's offering them a better deal, they're going to go somewhere else. Sports is no different. You know, we were very fortunate in a lot of ways. You mentioned how close we were to losing the baseball presence here, and it was really close. We're fortunate enough to keep that and actually expand upon that with the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. But we lost another opportunity. The Atlanta Braves wanted to come down here too. They wanted to come to Lake Worth. And because timing is everything in life, we just did that deal with the ballpark of the Palm Beaches, and the county commission, and I understand it, didn't have the political desire to try to do that. But the Braves wanted to do it, and they wanted to do it last year. That's when they wanted to do it. You know, I think they're going to end up going to Sarasota, which is fine. But can you imagine? We would have had 5 teams here in Palm Beach County, and I really count the Mets up in St. Lucie as part of us anyway. They're close enough. You would have had 6 teams in this region. I mean, you talk about the old days. We used to have the Dodgers up in Vero Beach, the Yankees down in Fort Lauderdale. We had all these teams around here, and you know, again, they got different deals, so they went elsewhere. Maybe in the Dodgers case, it was just more geographic issues. But when you're so close to getting that, and it's a money issue, you got to figure out a way to come up with the money and make that happen. Because, like I said in the beginning, the impact of having 5 teams here would have just been unbelievable. Especially, you know, you would have Lake Worth up to Jupiter covered, and that would have pretty much covered the whole county.
And from your perspective, spring training, from a political perspective, spring training, and I'm biased, and we're all kind of biased in a way, should be a political no-brainer because they're facilities that are $70, $80 million, whatever the number is, and they generate $80 million of annual economic activity if you believe the study for one ballpark alone. That's 2 in Palm Beach County. You got minor league teams as well. You got the amateur baseball with heads and beds that is very important from a tourism perspective, and the quality of life as well. And we've got a seminal time now. We have 15 in Florida, 15 in Arizona. We did a panel like this in Arizona, and their tourism director said, we play nice with everybody, but we want to steal those teams. You bet. It's like the Saturn plant, but a stick and ball deal. So talk a little bit about that from Tallahassee's perspective. You're in an arms race, right?
Absolutely. I said, you again, just to reiterate, you're constantly in competition, and you might not sort of realize it when it's going on, but there are other places, you know, whether they're other states or other countries that, or other cities that want or can see with the value of having something like, you know, a spring training, even though it's a very, you know, finite period. It's about 5 weeks, but so much else goes on along with that. You got pitchers and catchers coming. You've got the minor league aspect of it at Roger Dean. It's a year-round impact, really. And I understand the free market argument, and you know, why should we use taxpayer dollars to do all this stuff? I get all that. I like to think of myself as a somewhat fiscally conservative Republican, but I also, when I went to Tallahassee, the thing that I spoke at breakfast and things was that I was going to take a business perspective there too. Being in charge of 500 employees and running 2 restaurants and things like that helped give me some idea what it takes to have a chance to be successful. And sometimes you got to spend money to make money, and that's that doesn't jive with government all the time and philosophies. A lot of times they're like, we are going to remain pure to our conservative fiscal responsibility philosophy, and to hell with whatever the consequences are going to be. And sometimes that's what happens. Again, going back to something like the film industry, it's really non-existent down here anymore. And you've got Disney here. You've got tremendous entertainment mogul types of businesses here, and we're not exploiting that, for lack of a better term, the way we should be. We should be, Rick, creaming California right now. We should be creaming them with what we have here. Yeah, we got hurricanes, but they got earthquakes. At least with hurricanes, you get a little bit of forewarning. But it's virtually the same weather. It's the tax environment is so much better down here. The regulatory environment is so much better here. It takes a little bit of foresight to say we should, if you want it, we should have the whole Hollywood industry here in Florida. We should.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the most passionate I've heard Pat Roney in a long time. Where have you been? Why aren't you running again? Can we pass the hat? We're going to pass the hat. All right. Why
because
can't
it's
you?
6 years up there, I figured out they don't know what to do about that, and I'm not going to sit around there and let them, twiddle their thumbs while Rome burns. So.
Here's my final question for you, and it's impacting all of us: is Roethlisberger coming back, and where are the Steelers going to finish next year?
Again, Rick, it's a money decision. He's got little kids now. I'm sure the body is breaking down at age 36, but $20 million heals a lot of wounds. So yeah, he's going to be back at least for another couple years.
Pat Roney, thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. We need you to run again, but thank you very much for your comments. Let's just a final word from everybody, and we'll save the last word, George, for you. But start over here, Steve. What's your overall perspective of all of this?
Well, for me, as someone who's my starting point is different than these guys. Trying to change the trajectory of the lives of these at-risk kids and at-risk communities. Sports can have such an incredible impact on that if it's used correctly and if it's used to help provide opportunities. And I hope that's what we're doing. And with help of guys like this, the future should be great.
Mr. President?
Well, I think a couple of takeaways for me is one, that there's a great deal of validation for me in the last 45 minutes or so to summarize that, the need for corporate America and minor league baseball to look at the triple bottom line, which is a phrase now, not only economic, but ecologically and community and philanthropic. We've tried to aspire to that. Now that we have our business model in place, we can take care of the economic and focus on the other two. But to hear Pat, talk about the struggles of government, I'm very much in his camp that you have to make money to spend money. I believe in the quality of life. I believe in all that. But also the fact that, for our elected officials, it takes great vision and even more courage to step out, as Pat suggested they should. And I'm a firm believer in that as another fiscally conservative Republican. But I think that the communities that do it are proof positive that it works. And what we have learned is the communities that don't and later try to re-enter pay a much greater price for re-entry than they would have in the first time around.
Professor Cooley?
I think about an opportunity we had to meet Joe Torre recently, and he said baseball's a game of life. And it's really interesting. I mean, when you think about sports writ large and really about baseball, it's about practice, it's about fundamentals, it's about building skills that help you to be a leader, somebody who can communicate better, somebody who has loyalty, somebody who understands the value of being on a team. And there's so much to learn from that. And I think a couple things that are interesting, when you think about a changing demographic, when you think about millennial audiences or Gen Z, in many cases for folks like us, a really hard group to really figure out. One of the things is that they are consuming sports and entertainment in many non-traditional ways. And so one of the best ways I think that we can resonate with that community is really thinking about how we enrich the communities around them and how we really support them. And so no better way than to be in schools and to really support who they're becoming while helping to steward them as fans of the game.
Hate to do this, but we're going to do it again. A fired up, energized Pat Rooney one more time.
Listen, I didn't even mention the PGA of America going to Texas. That's another one that just irks me. But I don't want to sound too over-the-top negative, Rick. There's a lot of good things in Palm Beach County. I think the future is incredibly bright for this county. I think it's only going to get better. Yeah, I mean, we're going to lose some deals that we probably should have had, but there'll be other ones down the road. And hopefully the timing will be better so that when government needs to get involved, if the political will is to do that, they'll do what they need to do and help guys like George do the job that he's getting paid to do. But I think absolutely there's really no better place, I don't think, than Florida and this part of Florida. If you're in the sports business, you can't do any better than this.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Last word, Palm Beach County Sports Commission, George Lindley.
Well, thanks to everybody. Thank you, Rick. I think this was an excellent discussion and really demonstrates the power of sports. I'll conclude by going back to the business side, the economic side of sports, and what it means to communities. And I'll start with Palm Beach County. Our county did a job analysis report, and tourism is one of our leading industries, and tourism in our county supports 70,000 hospitality-based jobs. Out of those 70,000 jobs, sports and recreational activities represent about 8,500 plus, about 12% of the total hospitality-based jobs. So sports is a big engine for this community. And so because of that, sports, when you have a sports environment in your community and you use sports as a way to attract visitors, it's an incredible product that even during the poor economic climates can sustain a community and can bring value no matter what's happening around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's links in a chain. So we started with the 1965 Florida Marlins, and this did cost 10 cents. We'll invoice that appropriately. But the bottom line is it begets the next step. We talk about Joe Robbie and his desire for a facility, and then Cal Ripken's legacy, and then Wayne Huizenga. And those are all trustees in a long history of reminding us how important business is in Palm Beach County, but sports and then baseball as well. If we all are trustees to make sure we part of $1 trillion business to capture as much as we possibly can, we understand that the people around this panel have been given the responsibility of moving the legacy to the next step, both as far as ROI and profits concerned, but also the legacy of doing great by doing good and doing the right thing. And I'd like to thank everybody on this panel. Pat Rooney, thank you very much for your vision. Brian Cooley, lending EverFi's perspective. George Lindley, again, thank you for making this all possible. Mr. President, Minor League Baseball, thank you very much. And Steve Salem, on behalf of the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation, it is all part of a larger whole. South Florida will be the beneficiary of all this. Rick Horrow, thank you very much. See you next time.